welcome to Baking with the Bolyers. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to bake a recipe we've never made before. So we're making peanut butter and jelly cookies from Bake From Scratch. Some of you might be familiar with the magazine or their Instagram account, The Bake Feed. I'm a big fan of their magazine, but this one's off their website. It was a recipe they posted a couple weeks ago, and when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh, this looks really good. We have to try it. So, like I said, we've never made it before, so follow along with us while we try this new recipe. So the peanut butter and jelly sandwich cookies, it's basically a peanut butter cookie, and it's got a peanut mousse and a layer of grape jelly in it. Yeah, River? You want to eat cookies? Yep. As soon as we get them made, you can definitely eat them. All right. So we're going to start out today, and Madden, you can help me here. We're going to put the sugar and the butter in the bowl. So I've got the two sugars already measured out. You get to grab the sugar. We've got half a cup of white sugar goes in the bowl right now. Yep. Pour it in. I've got it all measured out. And we've also got a half a cup of brown sugar. Hold on. All right. We're going to put that in there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cream the softened butter and brown sugar and regular sugar together. And we're going to do that and take a quick break, and we'll be back for the next step. Okay, so we mixed together the butter and sugar. Now the recipe, and he's ready to lick the beaters already. So the recipe states that you're supposed to do it in the bowl of a stand mixer with a paddle attachment. It's not very much cookie dough, so I felt like using my stand mixer was going to be overkill. Also, a lot of people don't have the stand mixers, so there's no reason why you can't do it with a hand mixer. The only reason we're cutting in between takes is because the hand mixer is really loud and you won't be able to hear me. So next what we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 large egg plus 1 egg yolk. So it is not 2 eggs, 1 egg plus 1 egg yolk. So we're going to save the egg white for something else down the road. Maybe today we'll egg wash something. No one knows. All right, Madden. And we pour in, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract because the original recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla paste. We live in a very small town. Nobody has vanilla paste. And although I've been known to get vanilla beans for certain recipes, I didn't want to have to run out and buy vanilla paste just for this one recipe because I don't have any other recipes that call for it. So I think that'll be perfectly fine. And if you don't have vanilla bean paste, I don't see any reason why you couldn't use it either. So now we're going to mix in the peanut butter, the vanilla extract, and the egg plus egg yolk. Okay, so now we've got our peanut butter and eggs and vanilla mixed in. We're getting ready to put our flour in. So the next steps of the ingredient, or steps on the recipe, call for 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now, when I make recipes, even if it's for the first time, sometimes I do omit or change ingredients because I know what works or I know what our tastes are. I'm leaving out the 1/4 teaspoon of salt because I feel like peanut butter's salty enough. It's really going to be unnecessary because there's going to be peanut butter in the filling too, so that's going to be salty as well. And I know that we don't like overly salty things. The other thing I did differently is I use natural peanut butter. The reason I use natural peanut butter is 1, the peanut flavor is so much stronger, and 2, I'm allergic to palm oil. So a lot of the peanut butters that are no stir have palm oil in it, and I can't eat them. We did over last spring when everything was kind of going crazy and you couldn't find ingredients, we got Jif because we found actually they had pulled the palm oil out of it. But the problem was when we got it and we tried it, I hadn't had it in probably about 15 years. Yeah, how did it taste, Madden? Yeah, it tastes like lightly flavored peanut lard to me because we're so used to using the natural peanut butter. A lot of recipes, though, are going to tell you to use a creamy peanut butter. I'm trying to remember on this one if they recommend Jif or they recommend Skippy. I'm not really sure. Yeah, they use Jif natural creamy peanut butter. This is just Jif creamy peanut butter.
It
but
doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good. It doesn't taste like peanuts. So why a lot of times though they'll tell you to use a creamy peanut butter as opposed to a natural no stir is because people don't stir their peanut butter well enough. If you're trying to stir this in the jar, it's hard, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what we do is we take the entire contents of the jar out, put it in a bowl, and stir it with the hand mixer. That way you don't have the dry bits at the bottom, you don't have oily bits at the top, because if you aren't stirring your peanut butter well and you use it in a recipe like this, it might not come out because the fat content might get thrown off, where
It
you
might
need
get
a
stuck.
certain amount of oil to make the recipe work. So hopefully the recipe works today. Like I said, we stir it. This is what we use in all of our baking for peanut butter cookies and peanut butter bars and things like that.
You know about
Somebody's
this.
very anxious to lick the beaters. So we're gonna go ahead and throw in the flour. I've already mixed up, and I like to mix into the flour the baking soda or baking powder and salt when we use it into the flour, because that way, again, it mixes more evenly, and I feel like you don't have to worry about if a clump of it gets stuck to the side of the bowl and it doesn't get mixed in. You make sure that every bit of the flour has the baking powder and baking soda. Yeah, Matt? Oh, that doesn't go in yet. That's for our next step. So we're gonna go ahead and mix in the flour, and we're gonna come back and scoop out our cookies. Okay, so we've got all of our ingredients mixed in our cookie dough, and now we're gonna take a 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop and scoop out our dough onto the Silpat. And then my lovely assistant here is going to roll the balls in a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. So we've measured everything out ahead of time because we've never made this recipe before. And if you're making a recipe you haven't tried before, it's a really good idea to measure things out ahead of time and read the recipe before you start making it. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, oh my gosh, I screwed up this recipe so bad because I put too much sugar in it, or I put too much, because like this recipe calls for 1 cup of granulated sugar. We only put 1/2 cup into the dough. The other 1/2 cup is reserved for
The cookie.
rolling the balls of dough in. If you weren't paying attention and you hadn't read through your recipe ahead of time, there's a good chance you would ruin it by putting too much sugar in it.
There's
So-
no such thing as too much sugar.
Well, there is, because if you put too much sugar in your cookie dough, your cookies are going to spread more than you might want them to. They might be too crisp. They might be too flat. So you don't want to put too much sugar in your cookie dough. There is such a thing as too much sugar. So we're going to go ahead and scoop these out. I love cookie scoops because, one, you get a nice uniform cookie, and especially since these are going to be sandwich cookies, you want each and every cookie to be the same size and the same shape so that you can sandwich them together. I also
I
like,
think we need another tray.
well, we can put all these on one tray, Madden, because we're going to throw these in the refrigerator to, oh, no, to chill for a 1/2 hour. Hold on, my little River. He's too excited. We're going to throw these in the refrigerator to chill for 1/2 hour. No. I'll give you a little dough in a minute, okay? Here, there you go. So we're going to throw these in the refrigerator
We
to
don't
chill
have
for a 1/2
enough
hour
room.
before we bake them. So we can put them all on one tray. And then we're going to make sure that we either parchment line or Silpat line our trays before they go into the oven. And as soon as we get these scooped out, we're going to come back and make our filling. But what I was going to say is I like the cookie scoops, not just for uniformity, but a lot of times what we'll do is we'll make up big batches of cookies and we'll freeze the dough like this. Well, hold on, baby, you can help too. Because what we'll do is we'll scoop it out into nice little rounds. Hold on, River. And we will freeze it. And by freezing the balls separate, then I can throw them in a Ziploc baggie and pull them out when, okay, this is River's cookie dough ball. And we will pull them out to bake at a later time. Like the other night we had a chocolate chip cookie emergency.
Chocolate chip
And
cookie
we
emergency.
didn't have any emergency chocolate chip cookies in the freezer, so we had to go ahead and make a whole batch. I don't know about you, but we have chocolate chip cookie emergencies or cookie emergencies in our house.
A lot.
A lot, yeah. All right, so we'll be back in just a little bit to throw these in the oven and then make our peanut butter mousse. Okay, so I wasn't gonna film where we put them in the oven and do the little cross marks, but we're having a couple issues, so I thought that this is a good time to stop and address a few things. Number one, I didn't notice until after we had rolled them in sugar that the recipe stated to roll them in sugar after they chill. So you're supposed to roll the dough balls up, put them in the fridge, chill them for 30 minutes, then take them out, roll them in sugar, and press your little crosshatch into them. So when I took them out of the fridge and I went to press the crosshatch in, they started to break apart. So I've been letting them sit now for about 15 or 20 minutes to to warm up so that I can press the crosshatch into the cookies without them falling apart. So I think that if doing this again in the future, I would definitely roll my dough balls in sugar because I don't think the sugar is going to stick as well when it's a chilled dough ball. When I freeze my dough, I always roll in sugar before I freeze it, and it sticks fine. So I think if it was chilled, that you would have problems getting the sugar to adhere. Also, like I said, it's harder to get the cross hatches in. So I think in the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll them in sugar, put the cross hatches in, then chill the dough for 30 minutes. Okay, so number 2, the other problem I've come across is even though my little goblins took 2 balls of dough, I don't have near enough cookies to make 14 sandwich cookies. I am going to get 9 out of this batch and have 1 extra cookie because they did take 2. So at best I would have gotten 10 and had 1 extra. I used a cookie scoop that was the number 40, which is 1.6 tablespoons because it calls for 1.5. This is where I get kind of geeky. 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop. Well, there's not a 1.5 tablespoon cookie scoop. You either have the number 40, which is 1.6. Let me just double check here. Or the number 50, that's 1.2. I looked it up because I'm like, okay, this is, funky. So the recipe says the dough balls should be 28 grams each, and I weighed mine, and they are 32 grams each. I'm guessing if I used the number 50 scoop, that's 1.2 tablespoons, I would have got a yield closer to 14. But even at 28 grams each, I wouldn't have gotten 14 sandwich cookies. I would have only gotten 12. And I did weigh out all my ingredients off camera, so that kind of bothers me. It's one of those weird things that bothers me with recipes. When somebody says you're supposed to get so many, I expect to get that many, especially from a reputable site. Because if you were making these for a party or a special event and you didn't get near as many as you thought, that's a huge disappointment, and then you're like scrambling to go back and try to make more. Luckily, we're just making these for fun, and hopefully if you see my video, you know that you probably are going to want to double the recipe if you want enough to serve a crowd. If you're just making enough, like our family of 4, everybody's going to get 2, and then that's going to be it. But I just wanted to address those couple of things real quick before we threw them in the oven and went to the next step. So like I said, so far that's the only issue we're having with the recipe, but like I said, the yield is not near enough, and I would not chill the dough until after I put my cross hatches in the future. Okay, so we've got our cookies baked and we're getting ready to make our peanut butter mousse. So first we're going to put in a stick of butter. It calls for half a cup of butter. You want to put it in? Oh, hold on, let Madden do it. And then it also calls for 4 ounces of cream cheese softened. So we're gonna open this up and yep, you can help and get half of the cream cheese. Oh, hold on, River. See, while Madden gets the butter in. Hold this for me. Don't knife your brother.
Don't kill me.
Did you get it? All right, please.
I would like to not be dead.
All right. See if I can get the cream cheese open. Okay.
Was that a knife?
Yeah, it's a knife. So
Drop it up.
4 ounces of cream cheese. Let me see.
Drop it up.
Is half a block of cream cheese. So we're gonna go ahead and.
No,
Are you gonna help?
I help.
Okay, thanks. All right, that was it. We got it. All right.
Got it.
Be careful of the knife.
Get the knife out. Get away from me.
Bless you.
Don't kill me.
All right. Now we also have. Let's see. We're gonna beat the butter and cream cheese to medium speed till smooth. So we're gonna go ahead and beat this real quick.
Help you.
And it's smooth. We have had the cream cheese out on the counter all day. That's, I think, the most important thing when you're making anything cream cheese based frosting, or in this case it's a mousse. Make sure your cream cheese is at room temperature, or else it's impossible to work with. We're not done yet. So now we're going to add in a 1/3 cup of peanut butter. And again, we're using our natural peanut butter. Hold on, River. I'll have you help me in just a second, okay? I know everybody really wants to be involved tonight. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. All right.
Wait, that's not all of it.
No, we need it all in. Getting it? Do you need help?
Scrape it off.
So we want to make sure we get all that peanut butter in.
Oh, peanut butter. Alright, you can do the rest.
Hold on, no. Let me help.
The
Hold on, River.
I eat it.
The kids are dying to
Cookies.
eat the cookies ever since they came out of the oven. And since, I guess I miscounted. I thought we were only going to have enough to do 9, but it's going to be 10 sandwich cookies, so there's no extra cookie. But even then, we still wouldn't have had enough to do the 14 sandwich cookies that the recipe calls for. Oops. All right, so sometimes I get ahead of myself because I get a little distracted. So I've got the peanut butter in, and I've got half the powdered sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that up. Okay, so now I'm going to scrape down the edges real quick. Yep, and get all that peanut buttery goodness. No, not yet. Down in here. Again, the recipe said to do it in stand mixer. There's just not that much filling, so I don't think a stand mixer would have been the way to go because it just wouldn't get it mixed as well. So I definitely think the hand mixer is the way to go for this. So we're going to put the rest of the powdered sugar in. Oops, stick it in there. And it was a 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, by weight 90 grams, which is how we did it. And we're gonna go ahead and blend up the rest of the powdered sugar real quick. I'm going to give the kids each one of these beaters. You can tell me how the peanut butter mousse. So one thing we did leave out is the tablespoon of whipping cream because I didn't want to buy a container of whipping cream for 1 tablespoon, and the consistency of this looks really nice right now, so I don't think we need to worry about it. I did have a little milk on standby in case this came out really thick, but it's actually really nice and smooth and creamy, and I don't think we're going to have any issues, and I don't think we're going to miss the whipping cream. If you have whipping cream already on hand for another recipe, or if you're going to use it later in the week, by all means, but I thought it seemed wasteful to buy it just for this recipe. So, got our peanut butter mousse. How is it? Good? It's good? Good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is it called for a certain piping tip and putting it in a pastry bag to pipe it out. I don't feel like cleaning out my pastry bags, and since it's just a smooth round tip, I'm going to do it in a plastic baggie. I've done it a lot of times, and it's not like it has to look pretty specifically because you're going to be smushing them together anyway. So just as long as it looks pretty nice, you're going to be in good shape. Some plastic bags work better than others, and again, this is a really nice, soft filling, so I don't think we're going to have any problems with the seams and the bag splitting. So I'm just going to go ahead and put our peanut butter filling, or peanut butter mousse, in this bag here. You're done. Okay. Madden, would you throw out this thing for me? Madden's getting our grape jelly open.
It's already open.
Yep. I know. But you're getting it all ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cookies. And do you want a peanut butter mousse or do you want to jelly? Well, I was going to have us each do...
I'm jelly.
Okay, so you're going to jelly. River and I will be on mousse duty. All right. I think that's good enough for right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to seal up this little plastic bag. And then I'm going to snip the tip over here with scissors. Not too big of a hole because you don't want it to just pour out everywhere. We want it to be nice and controlled. So, just gonna snip the tip off this bag here. Probably about 1/4 of an inch, maybe, size hole. And that's gonna kind of mimic, hold on River. Okay River, I need you to scoot over, sweet PK.
Gotta put the cookies.
Yep, because we gotta get the cookies. Now, don't eat the cookies. We've been having problems. Don't eat the cookies yet. I know, I'm so sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip these over. And Madden, you are going to put... No. Oh, you help. Yep, good. You can help. We're going to put a teaspoon of jelly. So let me double check the recipe here and make sure we got kind of getting a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Roger. Let's see. Let's double check here. It's getting toward the end of the day, and I feel like my brain is starting to become jelly. Okay, so yes. Oh, good job. All right, so 10 cookies get a teaspoon. That's a half a teaspoon. Get a full teaspoon of... Nope. That's a tablespoon. Teaspoon. All right. Oh no! Hold on. Put the cookie back. We gotta put the filling on it. He's just too excited. All right. So what do we have here? Wait. Yeah, put it, and then spread it on with the. I know. I'm so mean. But since there weren't enough cookies, it didn't make very many cookies. I don't want you to eat them yet. So 10 cookies, Madden, and I'm gonna put the peanut butter mousse on 10 cookies. Okay, so we have to emergency build one, hold on, for River. So here is going to be River's peanut butter and jelly cookie because he cannot wait any longer. And we'll emergency build one for you too, Madden, because it's just too hard to wait. We're supposed to let these cookies chill for 30 minutes, but if your kids are like my kids or if you are like us, that's just not going to happen, is it? So we're going to go ahead, and this is going to be River's other one. We're going to pull off the filling key, put it on there. It's good stuff. We like them?
Yeah.
So, are they easy to eat? Because that was my other thing, is I thought, huh? A little hard. They're a little big, huh? Yeah, because I thought something else that I kind of thought about when we were making the recipe, and I noticed when we baked them, is they're not as flat as I thought they were, because when you're talking about a sandwich cookie, usually
it'll be like flat.
Yeah, you want something flat, and it's a little easier to bite in. I mean, it looks like River's not having any problem, but again, you are. But if I was making these in the future, I think I would omit some of the leavening agents because it is a small batch of cookies, and it had a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of baking powder in the cookie, and that's quite a bit when we only had, I think it was a cup and a half of flour. Like, I know our chocolate chip cookies that we like to make at home makes 36 cookies. It's 2.5 cups of flour, 2/3 cup each sugar, and it only calls for a teaspoon of baking soda, and they are big, soft, cake-like cookies. So I think, like I said, in the future, if I make these again, we're gonna make them flatter. Also, we made way more of the peanut butter mousse, I think, than we need. But if we would have had 14 cookies,
for our chocolate chip one.
yeah, we should put it in our chocolate chip cookies.
Exactly.
That's
Why
actually
not?
a super legit idea. We have right now in our freezer some
Chocolate chip
emergency
cookies.
chocolate cookies. Well, no, they're in the outside freezer. But this peanut butter mousse probably would be really good in those because, one, they are a little flatter. So if we end up making them, we will post them on Instagram and on our blog. The chocolate chip cookies with the peanut butter filling. But
I think that would be really good.
that would be really good. But no complaints. I mean, right? It's just
no. It's just sort of hard to eat.
Oh, you're having a little trouble. So okay, so this was our blind baking of the peanut butter and jelly cookies from Bake from Scratch. We usually love everything we make from them. But like I said, I think next time we make them, we'll make a few things different. Good night.